The first post-launch patch for Black Myth Wukong is out now, adding some changes, fixes, and it also secretly removes a certain trick that you see right here. I'll tell you everything you need to know. Let's get into some fixes first. So they optimized the hair effects of one of the first bosses you encounter, the Ling Shusi. I think these issues were especially on PC, but it should look better now, and they made the Captain Wise voice boss, one of the first you encounter in chapter 3, a bit easier with this update by reducing the stats. I did not have much of an issue myself, but they likely got the data that people were struggling here more than intended. I did see some comments about it online as well, so it seems like they're willing to listen to that feedback and then make these bosses a bit easier as a result. Close to this boss, you found the Lantern Warden enemies that could push players into walls in the Pagoda realm. Well, this should now be fixed. And they note that sometimes enemies could get stuck in motion in specific situations, which I had once. Not too often though, but yeah, some instances where this could happen have now been addressed. The player could get stuck while performing the rolling thrust move from the thrust stance and then become unresponsive. This should now be fixed, just like where you could not switch stances properly in chapter 6. We did not have that issue, but good for people that had trouble. They also have specific menu fixes for translations, for the portraits, and for the song titles and lyrics in the music library. They fixed some mistakes in the English lyrics, and also translations and text errors were fixed for talents, equipment, inventory, loading screens. Like some descriptions for abilities were different in German, for example, than in English, so people from Germany thought that this skill did something else than it actually did. So hopefully those things are now addressed. Okay, so before I tell you about the big secret change, real quick, we got some PC specific fixes where enabling FSR could cause crashes for some players during startup or the prologue. Should now be fixed. Just like where certain areas of the webbed hollow could crash when Nvidia full ray tracing was enabled. If you had that, check back now, it should be addressed. Now this is important, they also had a fix for the Taoist Me, who you can meet in the secret area of chapter 4. You would then see an icon for this quest when traveling from your shrine. I never saw this though, because I immediately went on to beat the final boss of this secret area, who is very close by, but then Me will disappear, and you cannot finish the quest anymore, and then you will miss a secret transformation. So if you are not in the chapter 4 secret area yet, don't make the same mistake. I will leave a link to a quest guide in the video description so you can complete it, and in our game-changing unlocks video, I have the route to this chapter 4 secret area, also linked to that in the video description. So yes, what you're seeing here is an unlimited mana and no cooldown glitch that some people reported on. For this you need to have the pillar stance unlocked with the Sweeping Gale skill, and the Endeavor skill is nice, so you don't need a focus point to trigger this. Then simply do 3 light attacks and 1 heavy attack to do the Sweeping Gale, and then spam the Cloud Step, like continuously press that button. If you now go out of the Sweeping Gale animation, you will notice that you can just spam every ability without a cooldown, and yeah, you don't need the mana. So yes, they can make an army of clones. It kind of felt like I was playing a strategy game where I was like sending all my troops to kill one of the poor enemies that would get caught. Like, they stood no chance. This was really overpowered. You could also just spam the immobilize spell, so when enemies got out, just immediately freeze them again, which also worked on bosses, so they were basically unable to do anything back. You could also spam Ring of Fire, so have a lot of these circles on the ground, or on top of each other, so they would give you more health back over time if you got the Consolidation skill unlocked. It was really cheating, it took the fun away from the challenging encounters. Still fun to toy around with it. But yeah, you already guessed it. It was not in the patch notes, but this trick sadly doesn't work anymore. I tried it a couple of times, looked around on the internet as well. Seems like they removed it. Of course, if you found a way to do it, let me know in the comments down below. But yeah, I now get the message that I don't have enough mana and that the cooldowns are working again. So RIP. Seems like the developers are really on top of these things, because this was only discovered like very recently. And they also have a warning for if you play the game with a Turkish system language on PS5, because then it can namely cause crashes. So better to change your system language to English, and they will have a fix for this in the future with another update. And when that update drops, I'll of course break it down here, so subscribe to not miss anything. A like on the video would of course really help me out, and check out our video with important things you likely did not know that the game does not tell you about by clicking on the screen. I will speak to you very soon. Goodbye.